Hey guys, welcome back. 2026 is upon us. I want to reflect on 2025 a little bit, but more importantly, look forward to 2026 and what we've got in store and the goals I have set for 2026 that I'll be taking action on. So a year ago, last winter of 2024 going into 2025, I was still working for a lawn care company and I was shoveling driveways. Every time it snowed, no matter the temperature, no matter how much snow, I had to be out there basically shoveling driveways all night long. It was not fun. I have a lot of respect for the people that are out there doing that. I did that for 2 years, and last year to start 2025, that is still what I was doing. Going into the spring, I was still working for that lawn care company. I was mowing lawns full time every single day, every single week. I was mowing lawns, and I actually had an opportunity to start door knocking for that company. I've talked about that a little bit, but that was my intro into sales for this last year, to get back in the door, get my foot in the door again, and be able to start talking to people on the sales side of things. That was awesome. There's a lot of walking, a lot of door knocking involved in that, but it was a good experience, and I was able to have a lot of fun and talk to people again and realize I can still go out and make sales happen. That ultimately inspired me and gave me the confidence to get back into real estate again. So last spring, going into the summer, I started making cold calls for the real estate business. And through that process, getting back into local real estate, I was able to close 6 virtual transactions and 2 locally. It allowed me to quit mowing full time and then get away from my part-time job of serving at nights. So I'm back in the real estate full time. I'm super grateful for that, and I'm excited to see what this next year can bring. One of the things I did stick to the entire year was a morning routine. I had an intentional time with God in the morning where I would pray, read the Word, and just try to align my day in a positive way and give that day back to God. Start it with gratitude for having a new opportunity to go out and do His will. I think that was the key thing for a lot of the success I had in the year, was the morning routine and then sticking with God throughout the day and throughout the year. Another thing that was great about 2025 was I was able to get back in shape again. I started the year off pretty heavy for me, and I was able to track calories and start running again and get back in shape. And then ultimately that led to the Ultra, running a 50-mile race at Canonsburg. That was an amazing accomplishment, and I think that also sets the rest of your life up pretty well when you can take care of your physical body and your physical training. That can improve the work days you have, and when times get tough, at least you have that to fall back on. Taking care of yourself, your soul, and your mind through faith and through physical exercise. Another thing I'm super grateful for is I was able to stay sober the entire year of 2025. Didn't have a sip of alcohol. I'm sure that helps a lot with every other goal I have in my life. That was something I desperately needed in my life, and the Lord gave me an opportunity and a wake-up call at the end of last year to get away from that and build a future without that. So that was something I just wanted to share. That worked for me, staying completely sober, and I continue to go down that path. Some of my goals for 2026 are to run a marathon on flat ground this time, not at Canonsburg, but run a marathon fast. I'm hoping that this spring I can do a marathon. I'm hoping for 3.5 hours or so. I haven't really tested out how fast I can go at a marathon, but that is a big goal for me, to just run a marathon on flat ground and see how fast I can go. There's a couple ultras I'm looking at later in the year. There's one called Wicked Worm, and that's in the middle of summer at Robinette's. And then I'm thinking about doing the Midwest Everest thing at Canonsburg again. That was super exciting. I loved that. So I'm thinking about a couple ultras later in the year, but I'm going to start with a marathon this spring. On the business side of things, I've turned on a lot of marketing, and my goal is to close at least 1 deal per week. 4 or 5 deals in a month, I think, is a very attainable goal and something I can do. I think my marketing can bring in enough leads to support that. So my goal right now is to close at least 1 deal a week, 4 or 5 deals in a month. Right now I'm closing 0 deals per week, right? In the past couple months I've closed 2 deals. So that's about 1 deal per month. But ideally, to accomplish my goals, pay off my debt, be able to stop renting and afford a place I can live in on my own and start building some equity instead of renting, I think 1 deal per week is an awesome goal to shoot for. So that's what I'm going to go for. The Lord has made it clear in my heart that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to continue to sow the seeds, take the action, and the outcome is ultimately up to Him. But I can totally see how with enough marketing, enough action, it is totally possible to close 1 deal a week. So this is my statement of my goal on 1 deal a week. And I will track the process and be honest about what that looks like going into this new year. The marketing channels I'm hoping to use to get there are Facebook ads, Google ads, direct mail, and still cold calling. Through Google pay-per-click, I can at least get 5 leads a week from that. I'm hoping direct mail, I can get 2 or 3 leads a week from that. Facebook, maybe 2 or 3 more leads. And then cold calling, bringing in a couple leads from that each week, continuing to hit the phones. So ideally, if I can bring in 12 to 14 leads a week, somewhere in that range, over 10, I should be able to close at least 1 in those 12 leads. One of the things that works really well for me is going on appointments with those sellers, whether that's on the phone or in person. If I can get 10 decent leads, I should be able to close at least 1 in those 10 leads. That's been a strong suit of ours in the business, and that's what I'm going to stick to. Once a transaction does close, I plan on putting 25% of that back into marketing to continue to grow and get more leads in the door. Ultimately, the things I need to focus on are how many leads are coming in, how many people am I able to meet with from those leads, and then how many offers can I get out from all those people I meet with. That's a key performance indicator that I can track. So yeah, that's my statement of my goals for 2026. I'm just putting that out there. Would love to hear your goals too, so we can keep each other accountable. Feel free to hold me to those goals and check in throughout the process. I'll continue to record and document the process and share things as they're working, and then share things that are not working so much or did not work so much in the past. I think there's lessons to be learned for myself in remembering where I was, where I'm at now, and where I'm hoping to go. All right, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.